Good day, awesome YouTubers. It is LollyMan16 here for another Mob Psycho 100 review. This one is episode 6, which in the English it is, the title anyway, it is Discord to Become One. First of all, I was really surprised about this episode on how much it focused on Mob's brother Ritsu. I was very surprised to hear how much of this series, or at least how much of this episode focused around him and not really much of Mob, the main protagonist. But it makes sense. You have to give some room for the other characters. Now I do know that I think this episode is going to be this series is going to be around 25 episodes long or something like that. So I think that, yeah. So, 25 episodes, it makes sense to put in some room for other characters and some leeway for other people to shine and to give them more personality and more character development. So, let's get right into this review. It starts off with the town. Basically, they heard about the attack with Hanazawa and Mob. Last episode they heard about it, and basically this episode follows around Ritsu, and there's many people who want to meet him because of they think his power. They think because of Mob, Ritsu also has power. There's at a certain point there's one guy, this one guy with orange hair, and these guys, he leads Ritsu into like a lab deal, and there are these people here. There are kind of fake espers, people who think they're completely frauds, but just to get Ritsu to use his power, that's what he thinks. And of course, Ritsu tells everyone he doesn't have any power, he doesn't have any special ability like his brother, and it centers around Ritsu and Mob in this episode, in the sense that everyone says Ritsu is so smart, so handsome and stuff, but Ritsu himself, he wants to have the power. He's not like his older brother Mob, where Mob has all the power, but he's kind of weird, and Ritsu is the guy he's basically he's normal in a sense, but and it kind of plays along. He does get some character development. I was very surprised about the ending of this episode, which I will tell a little bit later. So anyway, so Ritsu is followed bound by a lot of people, and they want his powers, but he's not happy about this, because basically he doesn't want to be normal, guys. He doesn't want to be normal. He actually wants the abilities of a psychic, and throughout this entire episode he's feeling down and depressed because he just doesn't have the power like his brother Mob does. And he's always been told that he's handsome, really nice looking, he's really smart and all this stuff. I think it said at one point that he's like one of the best students they ever had, Salt Middle School anyway, ever had, and but he wants nothing of that. He just wants his power. So while this is going on, the leader of the telepathy club, or I don't know what you call it, the guy named Kurata, basically. So I think we've seen her before. Anyway, she takes interest in this, and it basically I don't know if it's a she. I believe it's a she. She takes Mob in to trying to figure out who else is other espers, and she wants him to use his powers and stuff. And this episode was pretty slow. I will tell you that, guys, for sure. It is kind of slow. I think this has been the slowest episode in terms of what happens. No, there's not really much action in this episode at all. It's just focused around Ritsu and meeting these people who want to see his power, but of course he doesn't have the power. Anyway, there was this side thing at the end of the episode where Tenga Onigawara, which was seen in I think a couple episodes ago. He was the guy who was basically involved in this whole school fight kind of thing, and he gets involved in this, and they want to basically make the school, the Salt Middle School, a like a peaceful place and with no slackers, you know. And so they're going to come up with a plan to try and get rid of and trying to embarrass Onigawara. And Ritsu is involved in this. And what happens here is that Ritsu, he basically puts like a girl's recorder kind of thing into his desk and his bag to try and show the class that he's a pervert in that sense, because he does like nasty things with it and stuff. And of course Onigawara doesn't know anything about this, and he's kind of mad. And just before he's going to fight, he was kind of exposed as being, you know, a pervy guy. And what is really funny in this part, there's this one person, is one girl in his when he was younger, in his older days. Excuse me. There was this one girl who was basically, she liked him, and then he thinks that, well, she's going to stand up for me, but then she also says, oh, that's gross, man. And so he's completely distraught by this. I mean, his perfect attendance record of being every time to school on time for every day, I think for like 2 years, has finally been broken, and he's basically he has a lot of shame on him, a lot of depression, all that stuff. So after that part, after this, we see something very interesting. I'll tell you guys this, guys, right now. Ritsu, who we didn't think he had psychic powers, well, actually he does. Because at the end of the episode, and this was a really big shocker for me, at the end of the episode, we see Ritsu, he's there, he's walking home, and he tells the guy with the orange hair, he's like, well, I don't have any powers, and he starts walking home. Reigen actually follows him, and he tells Ritsu that he has to exorcise a ghost, or like a creepy spirit. Ritsu tells him, well, why can't you do it? And he's kind of like, he's completely silent, because obviously at this point we know that Reigen does not have any power. So Ritsu tells Reigen, I don't have any powers. He comes to walk home, but then he senses something. He looks over to his right, and he sees like a green energy thing. And he's like, well, that's not a balloon. But then he looks over, and then the big reveal, guys. It's Dimple. Dimple is still alive. Holy crap! This was the biggest reveal, and it was a really big surprise for me when I learned about. Well, wait a minute. Ritsu is a psychic too, so I really wonder how that's going to play out with his brother Mob. I think they're going to get, hopefully we'll get like a battle with him later on in the series where he's more accustomed to these powers. I don't know how Dimple survived that last attack with Hanazawa. I don't know how he did that, but it's cool to see him again, and hopefully we'll get some more answers. So that's been my review for episode 6 of Mob Psycho. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Not much happened. For my predictions for episode 7, I'm probably going to say it's probably going to, maybe it's going to center around Ritsu again, maybe with more involvement with Mob this time. Maybe Ritsu is going to get control of his power. That's going to be my prediction. Ritsu is going to take more control of his powers and learn about who Dimple is and all this stuff. And maybe who knows, maybe he will be an Esper, just like Mob. So that's my predictions and my review. Hope you guys enjoyed. One more final thing before I go. I'm sorry, guys, I haven't been posting any videos for a while. I was really busy this week, so I couldn't get anything done. I am going to start my college classes again on after this weekend, so I will upload when I can. And we know that Dragon Ball Super returns this week, so that's going to be cool. And I'll see you guys down the road. Stay awesome, everybody, and have a